pressure is building on Muhammad Yunus, both from within and outside. This week, he picked a fight with ISKCON, a global Hindu organization that runs temples. There was even talk of banning ISKCON. Yunus's officials called ISKCON a religious fundamentalist organization, but now they've made a U-turn. Muhammad Yunus's press secretary has spoken out. He says there is no plan to ban ISKCON. He also says Hindus are perfectly safe in Bangladesh. Then what about the violence in Chattogram? What about the reports of riots? Apparently, it's all misinformation peddled by Indian media. Listen to this.
We have no plan to ban any religious organization. Religious group has their freedom of association, freedom of assembly, and all their religious rights. We don't have any plan. There is a huge information gap in India. Like obviously you are flooded with misinformation. What we can see from here is there is a industrial scale misinformation campaign like originating from India.
Classic strategy there, shoot the messenger. We are not plucking out stories from mid-air. Our numbers and accounts are from Bangladeshi sources, like the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council. It's a non-profit group in Dhaka. They reported more than 2,000 attacks on minorities, more than 2,000 attacks in 4 months. Is this too disinformation, misinformation, whatever he's calling it? If it is, why hasn't Dhaka taken action? You see, it's easy to blame the media. It's harder to crack down on radical Islamist mobs, which brings us back to ISKCON. A ban may not be on the cards right now, but several people linked to ISKCON are being targeted. Some 17 bank accounts have been frozen, all of them linked to last month's Hindu rally in Chattogram. Among the 17 is Chinmoy Krishnadas, the Hindu priest who's been charged with sedition. You may remember the accusation against him. Apparently, he placed a saffron flag over Bangladesh's national flag. He has denied the charge. Of course, you cannot insult the Bangladeshi flag in Bangladesh, but here's what you can do. You can insult the Indian flag in Bangladesh. Don't believe me? Take a look. Those were colleges in Dhaka and Noakhali. Did you see what's painted on the ground there? The Indian tricolour. Students were stomping over it repeatedly. These pictures have been coming to us for the past few days, but we are showing them only tonight after verifying through local reporters. They say all of this is indeed happening in Bangladesh. And we are not saying that Yunus and his regime personally orchestrated any of this, but they did create an atmosphere conducive to it, where attacking India is fashionable, where targeting Hindus is revolutionary. India has not responded to these pictures, but it has expressed concern at the ground situation.
I would say that India has consistently and strongly raised with the Bangladesh government the threats and targeted attacks on Hindus and other minorities. Our position on the matter is very clear. The interim government must live up to its responsibility of protecting all minorities. These developments cannot be dismissed only as media exaggerations.
ISKCON has also hit back. Listen to what their leader in Bangladesh said to this. We want to make it clear that ISKCON Bangladesh has no involvement whatsoever in the ongoing protests. The lies have now reached such an extent that even road accidents are being falsely portrayed as part of ISKCON's conspiracy. It is true. That's how absurd things have become. And Yunus has no intention of fixing it. Even as Bangladesh burns, he is more focused on Sheikh Hasina, on punishing the former Prime Minister. This week, Muhammad Yunus met the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, the ICC. His name is Karim Khan, the same official who charged Netanyahu and Putin. Yunus wants him to prosecute Sheikh Hasina. Remember, she already faces a trial at home in Bangladesh, but Yunus says, let's try her at The Hague as well. After all, it's not like he's preoccupied with stabilizing a country in chaos. Yunus already has a problem of misplaced priorities. He needs someone to jolt him to reality. He certainly won't listen to the Indian media. But what about his beloved Western media? Well, most of them are silent on the attacks against Hindus. Some are actively downplaying it. Look at this survey published by Voice of America. It's a US state-funded news platform, VOA, Voice of America. Here's what the survey says. 64% respondents found Bangladesh safer for minorities under Yunus. And this got us thinking. The numbers don't match the sentiment. So we dug deeper, and it turned out that this survey covered only 1,000 people, 92% of whom were Muslims. I guess this is the sort of reporting Mohammed Yunus likes. Not industrial-level disinformation, industrial-level cherry-picking. Most Western leaders are silent on this issue. Only a handful of lawmakers have spoken up. Maybe it's an awareness issue. Maybe it's by design. Either they don't care about Hindus or they care too much about Mohammed Yunus. I won't be surprised if it's both. And it wouldn't be a first for them in Bangladesh. Let me take you back to 1971 when they did the same thing. Pakistan was unleashing a genocide on Bengalis. American diplomats in Dhaka reported these atrocities back to Washington. It later came to be known as the Blood Telegram. Do you know what the US did then upon receiving this Blood Telegram? Nothing. They ignored the atrocities because they supported Islamabad. Today, Islamabad may not be in the picture, but Western politics still is.